PFF is running one of their biggest sales ever. 40% off a PFF Plus subscription right now using the promo code BLACKFRIDAY. That means that you get everything fully unlocked. You get the grades, you get the stats, you get all the fantasy advice, the betting advice, which our new player prop tool is available on web as well to make you a smarter, better. You've got all of the draft analysis, the free agency analysis, all of that great stuff. Subscribe.pff.com to get 40% off a year-long PFF Plus subscription. Get it now. Okay, Saints and the Dolphins. Next game. Miami wins this one 21-17. It was a thrilling finish here. Almost had a touchdown at the end there by the Saints to take the win, steal the win. I feel like in Miami here. We'll get to that in a second. But the top 5 graded players that we had for Miami: safety Minkah Fitzpatrick with a 93.7. Offensive guard Cole Strange with a 78.3. Linebacker Jordan Brooks, a 77.5. Running back Devon Achane with a 75.2. And then defensive tackle Zach Seiler with a 73.3 at number 5. Tua Tagovailoa in this game, 63.1 overall grade. On the Saints side of things, wide receiver Devon Vele with an 86.5. Cornerback Kool-Aid McKinstry, a 76.2. Edge rusher Carl Granderson, a 72.6. Center Luke Fortner, a 69.2. And then safety Jordan Howden, a 69.1. Tyler Shuck in this game, a 74.6 overall. Dalton, what was your stat that told the story here in this game?
For me, I think, obviously, the end of the game got a little bit tight, and Tyler Shuck kind of tried to get a comeback going here for New Orleans, but I thought the Dolphins played their best game of the year in coverage, and it showed in the grading as well. 75.8 coverage grade, by far their best of the season, and it feels like, to me, they've simplified things on the back end. Look, if we're in zone coverage, stay in your zones, stay over the top, come up and make tackles if we had to. You know, you see in this, now again, they're playing the Saints, not a great passing team, obviously, but they're also not a great running team, so you know what's coming.
Right.
You look at the Dolphins and how fundamentally sound they've played on defense for the last month and a half or so. We've talked about it a lot with their defensive line and run defense, and the run defense was outstanding again in this game. They only give up 65 designed rushing yards, but we know the Saints can't run the football. But the Dolphins on the back end, you had the Rasul Douglas interception. The biggest play of this game ended up being Minkah Fitzpatrick with the interception on the 2-point conversion that would have tied the game and then made it a 4-point game. And then the Saints get the onside kick, and then they drove down into what would have been field goal range. If they were only down by 2, the Saints win that game on a field goal. So you got Fitzpatrick. If the Dolphins are if the Dolphins are trying to keep a pulse going in their season, Fitzpatrick there probably made the biggest play of their year, but also only 3 explosive passes allowed the entire game by this Miami secondary, all of them in the second half. Didn't allow a single explosive pass in the first half, and both of Tyler Shuck's touchdowns, they were out-of-structure plays where he just made really nice plays outside of the pocket. It is what it is. Sometimes NFL players make those kinds of plays, but this was easily, I think, front to back now. We've seen it from the front 7 in the run game, but front to back, especially on the back end, I thought the most fundamentally sound game the Dolphins played on defense. Their secondary, and I'll just shout out Fitzpatrick real quick as my most impressive player, because that pick 6, or I should say pick 2, that got him the 2 points and made it 21-17, like you see. A strip sack earlier in the game of Shuck. 3 total stops. I mean, he was just flying all over the place. I mean, if that guy's going to be your best player in the secondary, this is the kind of game that he needs to have once in a while to carry you through it. But the entire unit was really good all day.
It is funny how much those 2 points meant in this game.
Oh, and you think about
that was the win and loss. That was the win and loss right there.
The questionable-ish review on the onside kick, did it touch somebody or not? Because it was clearly.
Oh, right.
Because remember, it was clearly short of 10 yards if it wasn't touched by a Dolphins player.
Right.
And I still don't know to this moment that it was touched by a Dolphins player.
I don't think it was either. Now, I thought it was obviously like you can't do this. I thought it was well executed enough and close enough where I was like, God, just give it to him. Yeah, but obviously the rules don't go like that.
10 yards is 10 yards.
Right, you can't do that, but I watched that play and I was like, I'd give it to him. Because it's not like there was a Dolphins defender who was sitting right there. If he would have just sort of, again, like, if he would have started going down to the ground to corral this football a half yard later, none of this changes. Now, again, like that's not how the rules work. I don't think that he was 10 yards, and so for that, I wasn't so sure that a Dolphins player touched it. I probably wouldn't have given them that one. However, it was so well executed and again, it's not like a Miami Dolphins player was right there. It's not like they were fighting for the football. That was a clean recovery right there. I'd have been like, just give it to him. Let's see what happens.
You're sitting there during the review going like, come on.
Just give it to him. Let's have some fun.
We just had a touchdown. Then we had the pick 2 from Fitzpatrick. Let's see if they hit one more shot.
That's what I wanted as a non-biased viewer. Obviously, I didn't think that a Dolphins player touched it. I don't think that they should have had it in that regards. But it is what it is. Miami still got the win there. Sad that told the story. I want to go back to something that I talked about on Wednesday's show last week, and specifically it was Devon Achane and how this Miami team has been really good at getting back to running the ball really well, specifically when they get to the outside. I mentioned how outside zone and pull lead run plays were the 2 highest graded run plays for Devon Achane and where he has had his best output, his most efficient output, his most explosive output throughout the entire season. Well, Dalton, guess what his best run plays were in this game? Outside zone, pull lead. He had an 84.1 rush grade overall. He had a 78.1 grade for when he was rushing outside zone. He had an 83.5 when it was pull lead. Those were the 2 highest graded run plays that he had in this game. Achane had 134 rushing yards total. Guess what? 101 of them came on those 2 rushing concepts. They're just really good at that. They're really good at not only identifying that this is how Devon Achane really sees the field best, getting him out into space, utilizing that speed, but they're really good at scheming him up. I'm sure there are other teams that recognize this too. Oh, guess what? The Dolphins do most of their damage when they run the ball to the sideline. Let's make sure that we defend against that. Let's make sure that we've got certain players here. And yet the Dolphins and Mike McDaniel still find a way to make it happen. They're sitting here, Dalton, very quietly. Very quietly. Miami Dolphins are sitting here at 5-7. Okay? They have coming up next your New York Jets, a Pittsburgh Steelers team that looked god-awful that we'll talk about here in a little bit, the Cincinnati Bengals, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the New England Patriots. If they go 3-2 in that stretch, they finish the season 1 game below 500. They finish 8-9. And this is, we were talking about, at one point they were, what was this? 1-6? They were 1-6 at one point this season. And we were talking about, you got to clean house. It's over. This is terrible. At this point, Dalton, I'd tell you, I think Mike McDaniel gets another year. I don't think, because they already moved on from Chris Greer. And if they were going to move on from both of them, I feel like they would have done it at one time, which tells me that ownership trusts Mike McDaniel a lot more than they trusted Chris Greer. So I feel like if they finish 8-9 or anywhere close to it, to be honest with you, unless they really go on a skid to end the season here, I think they're going to give McDaniel another year with a different general manager. I don't think he's going anywhere.
What you're telling me is they got some winnable games here coming up.
It's true. It's very true.
You know our rule, though.
They do have winnable games coming up.
Got to win them, though.
You got to win them. You got to win them.
Actually, that's the funniest part, actually. Even this game going to New York, Jets, Dolphins, both coming in feeling pretty good about themselves right now. What a weird, kind of low-key good game between teams with bad records there this week.
My most impressive in this game is Cam Jordan. 37.5 pass rush win percentage. Now, he didn't play a lot. He had 2 sacks and 3 pressures on just 8 pass rush reps, but good for Cam Jordan. And then most disappointing was actually Chris Olave. That ball goes through his hands in the end zone. Now, was it an easy catch? No. Was it a catch Chris Olave could, maybe should make? Also, yes. Goes right through his hands. Game's over at that point. Well, maybe not over, but you go up on the scoreboard, you score a touchdown. And that's you can't ask for a better situation. You can't ask Tyler Shuck to deliver a better ball, I feel like, than the one that he delivered to Chris Olave.
He played well late in this game. It took him, really the entire first half, their passing game, their entire offense was silent. But he played well late in this game, good enough. I mean, again, I think this Saints team, it is hard to judge Shuck and the entire offense because they have no run game to speak of. That's my most disappointing part is, again, I believe it was 21 design carries for 65 yards. They just right now they just can't run the football. Yeah. And at a certain point, it feels like Kellen Moore is getting to a point in every game where it's just like, I'm not even going to bother. Like, what is the point of it if we're just this?
Which is a dangerous place to be.
It is, certainly. If you're this incapable of running the football, then it gets a lot harder to throw it. But Shuck played well at the end of this game. He did.